I don't have to like pander, right? What we do have to do is be good people and be welcoming and truly inclusive, not just like talk it, say it, put stickers up, put flags up, any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Elliot Omenson Show with Elliot Omenson and
Nathaniel Vossman.
Bring in all the latest, the greatest, the crazy, the wacky, the wild. Pretty much all the last few adjectives there are all generated by Democrats. For our viewing pleasure, right? I mean, where would we be without their entertainment, right?
We certainly wouldn't be doing this.
No, we wouldn't be. All right, and huge shout. I'd like to thank Nathaniel for all the hard work behind the scenes, but everybody on TikTok, we seem to be growing pretty good there, and love that you guys are loving it, or maybe you hate it, and that's why you're interacting. Either way, we'll take it.
Yeah, it's like every other post. Like we have posts that do really well, and it's like one post that does really well, ton of support. Next post that does really well, ton of hate, but we love it.
We love it both.
Yeah,
love it both. All right, so. I want to get into an article that came out, let's see here, August 24th in the Rolling Stone called Tax the Rich, They'll Stay. Zohran Mamdani wants to make New York more affordable by raising tax on the city's millionaire. History shows they will not leave. All right. Now, personally, and I love here in the beginning of it, they say he wants to freeze the rents, make buses and childcare free, and this would be funded by a meager 2%. It's like 2% is meager times 50. What do you get? 100. But it's meager, right? But all that aside, none of that's my point. I actually agree with this article. All right. And they used historical data to show that no matter how much they raise the taxes, most millionaires don't move. In fact, they're less likely to move than poor people. Right? So, my thought when I was reading this, right, is New York already has rent control. New York already has numerous programs, redistributive justice programs, welfare programs. All of America does, right? And so I thought, how is it that you can fight for the same thing year after year, decade after decade, and still complain about all the same shit? So I was wondering, are they wildly ineffective? Do they never accomplish what they set out to? Are they failing to tax the rich? Are they failing to get these programs implemented? Do I just hear about them and they're not as extensive as I think they are? Right? What do you think?
I would assume it's a combination of those things because you always hear about the stuff, but then, like you said, they keep fighting for the same thing year after year. It's like, how has it not been accomplished already?
Right? Now, here's what's awesome. All right. And this is, and really we should have a whole podcast about AI and using ChatGPT and Grok and all the rest of them. Because, so I was taking a class, online class on how to use AI. And it started off with photography. Because who doesn't want to be able to strip the clothes off a hot chick you work with?
There's only one girl that works here.
Oops. No, actually, oddly enough, my ex-wife in our company meeting actually talked about how her boyfriend uploaded a picture of her to Grok and told it to make her sexy or something, and it literally like full snatch photo AI put it in there, right? So yeah. Anyways, so I'm trying to go through this class on how to use AI for photography, and I learned something really, really important. Because I don't understand photography, right? I can't really use AI for photography to the extent that somebody could if they actually understood photography.
Definitely.
Like, I don't know the terminology. I don't know the words. There's a language within every specialty. There's a whole language around it, and these words have specific meaning. And if you don't know those words, you're not going to get the same impact out of the AI that an actual photographer would get. Definitely. Who actually owns all this, right? And so initially I just said, if people in New York and California see their taxes as a percent of income rise or fall over the last 50 years, right? It says short answer, both have risen. New York more than California, though both dipped around 2000. So New York, 14.7% of income in 1997, 15.9% in 2022. So it's only 1.2 more, right? And it was low around 2000, 11.7. So there was the drop after the 9/11 and the tech burst, right? And it climbed back up. Now, California was 13.3% in 1997. It's only gone up 0.2 points, 13.5% today. And it also dipped down to 10.7 in 2000. All right. And the entire country did it as well. And the sources of the Tax Foundation's historical series of state local tax burdens, taxes paid by residents divided by state income, adjusted for cross-border tax exporting. So then I asked it, is it the same for all income brackets? It said not exactly. The overall state local tax burden as a percent of total income is an average across all residents. Within that, the experience is quite different depending on income bracket, source of income, and mobility. It said, here's what's going on in New York and California. Both states have progressive state income tax codes, meaning higher earners pay a larger share of their income in state income tax. California's top rate today is 13.3, the highest in the country. New York's top rate is 10.9, higher in New York City when you add the city tax. Now, it does say right here, lower income households pay very little in state income tax and in some cases receive refundable credits. Then it goes into a trick Democrats love to play. And I found it interesting that ChatGPT did this as well. Then it says sales, excise, and property taxes hit lower and middle incomes harder. Lower and middle income families spend more of their income on consumption, sales tax, gas tax, alcohol, tobacco, etc., crack, meth, no, just kidding, and housing, property tax, rent with embedded property tax. And then this is what it does. This makes their effective tax rate, total state and local taxes percentage of income, closer to or even higher than middle-class households, even though they don't pay much income tax, right? Now, there's a whole argument to be made as to whether or not combining all those taxes in when discussing income tax is fair, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, one of the things that I find really interesting is that if you had half of the members of a team that you were on not contributing, there would be animosity. There would be resentment. Now, along with, at the same time that this article came out, I also started reading a book called The Politics of Resentment. And The Politics of Resentment came out shortly after Scott Walker won Wisconsin. He was like an early version of Trump up there in Wisconsin. And it's written by a woman named Catherine J. Kramer. And she's a University of Madison or something researcher, blatantly leftist. And she spent, I think, like years, 5-6 years, going around the rural countryside of Wisconsin and talking to people about their political views. And what was really interesting to me, that's why it's called The Politics of Resentment, because it's all about how these different people resent other groups of people. Now, I'm not all the way through the book yet. And the book, she actually does a pretty good job. She's not, it's interesting. It's hard to tell if she's trying to identify the why. And sometimes it seems like she is, sometimes not. But nowhere does she recognize that the why is really simple. When my government takes money from me and gives it to someone else, you're creating the doorway. You're opening the door to resentment. And here's what's really interesting. All statistics show that rural communities put less into the pot and receive more, or very, very close. And so you would think they shouldn't be resentful. But the problem is that the government is so large and so murky and so cumbersome, you can't really see it. All you know is money's getting taken from you. And it's not like that exact amount's coming back to you. And just interesting to me that she's sitting here identifying what a problem resentment is. The actual primary source of that is an entity away from you, taking money from you and redistributing it to you. And even though they're getting more, they can't see it. And it's creating this politics of resentment. Now, this is just one part of it all. So it's like when I look at how our income taxes have shifted, and I'll get here to it by the end of all this. What I find really interesting is that people that don't contribute, it's not always the people who are contributing that feel resentment towards those that don't. What I find quite often is the people that don't are the ones with a fucking attitude. It's really strange to me, right? There's no gratitude for you taking care of me. It's always resentment towards the person taking care of them. Now, in the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, he talks about how the reason why is because as a human, you inherently do not want to feel like you owe somebody. And so he actually has this whole chapter on how if you go over to help your friend move, and he talks, who does that create the feelings of friendship from and towards? Does it make the person going over to help them move feel the feelings of friendship towards the friend they're helping to move, or does it make the feelings of friendship for the person getting the help towards the friend who's helping them? And most people think the feelings of friendship would be created on the part of the person receiving the help, directed towards the person who's helping them, and it's not it at all. Human psychology is actually the opposite of that you actually feel resentment because you now feel indebted like you owe that person, and no one wants to be in that position. So just like on a team where if you had half of the team or 20% of the team not participating, that would tear the fabric of your team apart. And here we have this federal income tax, and we have a state income tax, and we have a huge swath of the population that's not contributing to it. And oddly enough, that part of the population, the angriest, most resentful, most vitriolic part of the whole population. Or at least that's how it appears to me, right?
Yeah.
So ChatGPT tries to make the claim that when you add in all the consumption taxes to the income tax, well, now it balances it all out, right? Now, I go on and I ask it, okay, so in regards to my question, which was over 50 years, how has this impacted? I thought the answer was really interesting. Since the 1970s, both states increased reliance on high-income earners via higher top income tax rates, especially post-2008 recession during COVID. Sales taxes and property taxes also grew, which hit lower brackets. Net effect, both bottom and top brackets pay more than they did 50 years ago, but the progressivity, the gap between the rich and the poor widened, especially in California. So it says the rise you see in the aggregate numbers is not uniform. Top earners have seen their effective tax rates rise more sharply. In both states, middle low earners also pay a bit more than 50 years ago, but most of the additional burden growth has been concentrated on high income households. Well, this wasn't good enough for me. So I asked it, if you exclude the consumption taxes, like sales tax and property tax, then what does it look like? This shit's mind-blowing. Okay? And we already know all this. But I just want to. So, the bottom 40% of households in California pay little to nothing. The bottom 20% pay zero. Many receive earned income tax credits and California's own Cal earned income tax credit. So not only are they not paying anything, they're actually getting money they never earned and never contributed, right? The middle 60% pay 2 to 4% of their income in taxes. Now, what does this end up doing? 1% of California's population pays 45% of all personal income tax revenue.
Damn.
That's California. And it's pretty much the same in New York.
That's a lot.
So again, setting aside whether or not it's a lot or not, setting aside whether or not you think it's fair that 1% of your population is covering almost half of the entire government bureaucratic budget. You're winning. You are absolutely succeeding. If you're on the left and you're for redistributive justice, you're winning. You've accomplished over 50 years. You have moved the needle to where 1% is footing the fucking bill for half of you, almost. And has anything improved?
Not as much as you'd think.
No. In their mind, not from our point of view.
Yeah, I mean,
from their point of view, has anything improved? I would tell you that the terrorists that they're trying to elect in New York is proof that they don't believe anything's improved. In fact, they think it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
The only way you could elect that man, a self-avowed terrorist mouthpiece and communist, is if you believe that things are absolutely worse. Nobody was elected Muslim terrorist communists 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. So the only way you could be electing that piece of shit is if you believe that it's worse, and yet you have moved the needle so far in the direction that you want that half of your entire budget is being provided for by 1% of the population, and it's still not fucking enough for you. So when will it be?
Certainly not after that extra 2%.
Definitely not after that 2%, right? Because if it ain't been accomplished yet, 2% ain't doing it. Right? Another crazy stat is that you could take every dime from every billionaire in America, and you would not fund our federal government for one complete year. And then what are you going to do? Take every dime from every millionaire in America. And then what are you going to do? Like, their bullshit doesn't work. They've been winning progressively and just marching on year after year, decade after decade for 50 straight years. And it's not enough.
No.
So I would just love for somebody to comment in the comments what exactly you think 2% more is going to accomplish. And at what point, when the entire budget is paid for by 1% of the people, will it be enough then? No, it won't be. We know it won't be.
So there's more programs.
Yeah. Even when 99% don't contribute shit to the game and shit to the team, it will not be enough. You will never have enough.
Because there's two sides to the equation. You got the funding, but also the spending. And if the spending always has an upward pressure on it,
I can always spend more than I earn.
Yeah.
Every human can.
Yeah. But that's not the politically correct way to look at it.
Yeah. So there you go. That was just, some light early morning reading and chat GPT that I did.
I like it
this week. So
I put things into perspective.
I would hope so.
I think a lot of people might hear tax the rich, but it's kind of a intangible idea.
Yeah.
Without really hearing how much they already pay.
Yeah. Yeah. You've moved the needle to where 1% is footing the bill for almost half. And it's never enough. And it's and the gap is widening. What does that tell you? You're literally creating the opposite outcome that you're trying for. The more you're doing it, the more the gap is widening. Now, I'm not saying causation's correlation, but I would definitely start to get a little introspective. If I am succeeding at making the rich pay for everything, and I'm creating layer upon layer of bureaucracy and taxes and fees and penalties and rent freezes and all the rest of this shit, and all that's happening is the rich keep getting richer and the gap is widening, I might go, maybe what I'm doing is having the opposite outcome. And I can tell you, rent freeze absolutely creates the opposite outcome. And I think I've told this story. I have a friend of mine who lives in New York in an incredible penthouse. And it's a rent-controlled penthouse. The entire building's owned by a private equity firm. Why? Because his rent is so low due to rent control, the owner couldn't even pay the property taxes. There's only one type of entity that has the pockets to be able to buy that building, to maintain it, and to hold it until everybody in it dies, and it's able to go on the market and they can turn a profit. An average person can't do that.
No.
So you're literally forcing normal people out of the real estate business with your rent freeze. And you're creating the environment where the only people that can buy these buildings and maintain them and do anything with them are private equity. And then you're bitching about private equity owning real estate.
Exactly. It's like, that's like one of the biggest things that they villainize.
Yeah. But Zillow owns all these homes. Well, nobody else can fucking afford them because you won't let anybody charge an appropriate amount for them. And I got to hold it until he dies or voluntarily moves. And somehow, I don't know how he pulled it off. It was his parents. And now he lives there.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to criticize him, I don't use his name or anything. I love the guy dearly. But he's in the middle of buying $1 million plus property out in the countryside as a second home. That's who you're freezing rent for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the intended purpose.
No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bernie Sanders has 3 houses. Maybe it is his intended purpose.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that individual actually is a lifelong hardcore left-wing Democrat. And I'm like, how do you live this and not see it?
Yeah. Well, it's easy to be okay with stuff if it benefits you.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, before I work myself into a depression and have to call a suicide hotline, let's move on to another topic.
All right. So we got a few topics.
Yeah, we got some pretty entertaining ones too coming up
that we could hit on. So it just
let's start. I think we start at the top. Let's stay with the heavy shit, and we'll get down to the Minnesota shooting, the funny stuff. Just kidding.
The funny stuff. Yeah. So I would say the past week with the Fed has been pretty interesting.
Right.
So it kind of goes back to last week when Jerome Powell was having his annual speech up in Jackson Hole, and was pretty dovish about it, and looking more at the employment side of things and really indicating more towards a rate cut. So the markets like that a lot. But pretty much at the same time, Trump's going out and attacking one of the Federal Reserve governors, Lisa Cook.
Yeah, because she's black and a woman.
Every article likes to talk about that.
We know that is the only reason.
Yeah. And so at the same time, he's kind of going after her about some potential alleged mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
And so
maybe they can wrap her case with Letitia James's.
Yeah. And then on here, I have all these other ones because you got Letitia James, you got
Adam Schiff,
you got Ken Paxton, you got Donald Trump.
Oh, good. We got a Republican in there.
Yeah. But yeah, we also have Donald Trump.
And a white male. So we got a white male Republican. See, we're not racist.
Yeah. I think ultimately what I'm showing here is that there's a lot of allegations and probably a lot of guilt between all these parties.
I guarantee every one of them's guilty.
Yeah. And it's just...
because it's one of those crimes you don't really think that, hey, no, there's nobody to enforce this, right?
Until they do.
Well, until they do. And you're used to them not doing it. But Letitia James opened up the door. When she campaigned on getting Trump and then literally had to create the most cockamamie lawsuit of all time in order to convict them, you literally opened up Pandora's box.
Yeah. And I think she brought maybe a little bit too much attention with the hefty fine. And she was going on social media like every day.
Yes.
Because it was accruing interest. So she was always like posting about it.
Yeah, because it was like 330 and now it's 500.
Yeah, I got up to I think 515.
Yeah.
And now that's been tossed out entirely.
Yeah. No, I think they tossed it out for a more benevolent reason. So the whole thing's being appealed, right?
Yeah.
But would you go through all that work and expense just to overturn the convictions that don't do anything to you if there wasn't a huge dollar fine associated with it? You might just choose to just roll on. Like, what does it matter? I got elected. Yeah, I've got all these felony counts, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of the, and I don't know that it was done on purpose or anything, but I think one of the benefits to the Democrats of stripping this fine out of it is it could create a situation where Trump's just like doesn't bother trying to appeal it. Because I think on appeal, that whole thing's thrown out. I think all those convictions are completely undone.
That's a good point.
But you got to be motivated to go through that process and spend all that money to do it.
That's a good point.
So just my thoughts.
Because if anything, it just kind of confirms, like, at least on an outward looking, view of it, it confirms his guilt. Because they talk about how they're tossing out that fine, but he's not exonerated.
He's not exonerated because that wasn't the appeal. That was literally just a judge ruling on the fine being unconstitutional according to the Eighth. Is it the Eighth?
Eighth Amendment.
Eighth Amendment.
And so it's like the fine's tossed out, but it still makes him look guilty because they're like, oh, we can't exonerate him.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And like, who the hell?
Because
really
if you got convicted with 33, 34, 37, whatever, who cares? Some amount of felonies. It resulted in no jail time and no fine. Are you going to fight it?
Not really likely to.
You don't got the time. It's tons of money. You probably would just roll on.
The good thing about Trump is that he can be pretty petty against people who like wrong him.
Thank goodness.
And so I would imagine he'll still seek it out to the fullest extent. That's just how Trump is.
I hope
He's
so.
Very petty when it comes to people.
I hope so.
Who don't like him.
Yeah, I really would like to see all those felony convictions tossed.
Yeah, so I don't really even know if it's worth going through all these.
Well, he also, you know what might keep him going through it as well? Because because he didn't get, there's no jail time or whatever, but in addition to the fine, Trump organizations are
unable to
like fully operate and do business in
New York. I think they have like another year or two before they can do their business
unfettered. Yeah, so that might be a reason to continue with the appeals outside of the money.
Yeah, because I'm not even entirely sure how that works with like all the properties up there that are obviously owned by Trump.
They still have his name on them.
Yeah, so I don't really know how that works.
Not either.
But yeah, like the whole Lisa Cook thing, she had marked one property as a primary residence, and
2 weeks later, she marked another one as a primary residence.
And so that was kind of like what Trump said in his announcement. He's like, it's inconceivable to think that you would.
No, you knew exactly what you're doing,
especially so close together. But
no, it's the fact they're so close together that's important.
Yeah,
because she needed to close on both of those before they hit her credit report. Because if you're putting down your primary residence, but when they pull your credit report, it shows that you have another primary residence, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So you only do bullshit. Usually you're going to do bullshit like that
real quick.
Now, I don't think Letitia James did, but I think there were some other factors that went to Letitia James's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perspective I didn't really think of much. Yeah. But then the issue alongside this, whether or not, regardless of guilt, is the fact of whether or not Trump even has the authority to fire her.
Yeah.
Because like there's no real clear.
He's allowed to fire them for cause, but nobody defines what cause is.
Yeah. And it's like you would think cause would likely have to do with more workplace cause, where this is clearly not related to workplace at all.
And I agree with that, except for like, if your high school finds out you're running an OnlyFans account, you get kicked off the cheer team. One had nothing to do with the other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But
you're a school teacher running an OnlyFans account, you get fired from being a school teacher. That's why I'm a financial advisor and not a high school PE teacher like I used to be.
Yeah. The Fed is like very much like insulated from like
it's supposed to be
everything though.
It's supposed to be insulated. But
so
they still give the president the ability to fire somebody for cause. And they don't define what cause is.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever done it before, right?
No.
This is the first time.
No. Yeah.
Well, hey, black women love being the first for shit, right?
She'd be the first Fed
Wasn't
governor.
that the whole reason to vote for Kamala?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the first Hindu black female VP running for president. Now we have the first black female Fed governor getting fired for cause.
Yeah.
Feather in the camp.
Be a real
We're just trying to help you out, giving you more firsts.
Yeah.
Jeez, Trump is such a humanitarian.
Exactly. Just doing what's right. So this is all the rage right now when people are liking to talk. Because I watch quite a bit of the CNBC.
Yeah. Oh,
I like CNBC quite a bit. But I've seen lots of guests on, including like different presidents of Federal Reserve banks, and they get asked about it, and they all dance around this question, but then they always hit back on the whole independence of the Fed, which obviously that's what they're going to talk about without commenting on the actual Lisa Cook situation. And it just, yeah, I mean, it's just real tricky to know when you draw a line between independence of the Fed and justified, I guess you call it justified aggression against the Fed.
Yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that Trump's done, people keep talking about him pushing Powell so hard to lower rates.
Yeah.
But nothing that he's really done is actually
Pushed
illegal at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
he's
he's
just
allowed
running his mouth.
He's allowed to tell Powell that he thinks the rates should be cut.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's not really affecting the independence of the Fed. And so I think people already got this concept in their head that Trump's trying to influence the Fed.
Yeah.
But is he really? And this Lisa Cook situation, I guess, a little messy.
Well, I have a rabbit thought. I want to come back to that real quick. So you were saying you listen to CNBC. I love MSNBC. And something happened to me the other day on their app. Just because it's so entertaining reading their just absolutely insane points of view. They have these polls, and they have this little meter. Right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You see them?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. Now, every other time I've answered one, I've answered it in line with what probably most conservatives do. And so there's not a single dot over where I put the meter. They're all over on the other side, right? With some sprinkled throughout. Well, when it came to using the National Guard in D.C. and other cities, I answered along the lines of what every Democrat would, right? So I moved the meter over and it dinged with all the rest of everybody that's voted, right? And that's the first time. The next thing that popped up was an invite for me to join their newsletter.
Oh, really?
Yes. I thought that was hilarious.
That's funny.
I'm reading all your articles, but because I don't vote the way that you clearly construe your news stories, you don't think I'm interested in your newsletter. The minute I vote the way that fits in line with your ideology, he probably wants to read our newsletter.
That's pretty funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, especially since you are one of the larger consumers of MSNBC.
I might be me and like two other people.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Even the leftist people I know don't actually watch it or read it as much as you do. So
no, yeah. So I just thought that was kind of funny. But back to what you were just saying. I was having this conversation with two of my Army buddies, and all three of us are very right wing. But they're like, one of them I would say is like more reserved, and he's pretty religious Christian, and his concern is that Trump is creating even the other friend is, well, are you going to like this when a Democrat gets in office? And I'm like, you guys, I think this is the age old argument to excuse Republicans never accomplishing anything. Who gives a shit? Democrats do whatever they want, and they have forever. Like, what more do you need than to look at all the money that was being funneled to every Democrat? Chelsea Clinton, I think, got $83 million from USAID. They're doing whatever they want. And then you're going to sit here and go, well, don't you think Trump's just empowering the next guy? Then, no. Barack Obama used executive order to do the Dreamers. Donald Trump tried to do an executive order to undo it. The Supreme Court ruled he couldn't. So, there's a clear separation of you're not them. You don't get away with it. We don't have the coverage of the media. Like, I'm just sitting here going, no, what I love about what Trump's doing with the Fed, and to piggyback on something you had said in there, the Fed is supposed to be separate, right? Congress is supposed to be separate. All these things are supposed to be separate. But leadership comes from one person. And clearly, Trump and a team of people created and I don't mean global as in the globe of the earth. I mean global as in high level, right? They created a global plan to fix America and get America back on track. That global plan is hitting on every single facet of American life, right? From crime in the streets to tariffs, to taxes, to Medicare, to whatever, right? It's everything. It's literally, it's like that movie about transgenderism. Everything, everywhere, all the time, all at once. That is like, somebody saw the name of that movie and thought, this would be a great Trump second term. And so, would it be nice if the Federal Reserve could be separate? I mean, there's reasons to have it done that way, right? But if, as the president, I need to retool the American economy, and I need to increase tariffs, and I need to create trade wars with countries to balance out trade, and I need to bring manufacturing back to America, I also need low interest rates to help with this. Like, there has to be some ability for the president to institute a global plan. And again, I'm not saying global is in all of the world. I mean global plan for America, right? And even my friend in from the Army is like, oh, the CCP loves, that much control. I'm like, no, I get it. You can make all these like comparisons and stuff, but it's like, if Trump doesn't have the ability to institute this plan, and that plan requires Congress, it requires Senate, it requires executive orders, it requires, and really he doesn't have that ability, right? So he's having to push the boundaries of what a president is capable of and what a president is authorized to do and what's legal. And he's having to find out where those guardrails are because he's doing things that no other president has ever attempted to do with the presidency. So the more you try and do that, the more you're going to bump up against the guardrails. You're going to learn where these guardrails aren't even visible. And they're not visible till you bump up against them. And again, I just always go back to, you think Trump is pushing these boundaries and bumping up against the guardrail. What's the ultimate guardrail? Well, it's the Supreme Court. But before Trump, which sitting U.S. president was the number one most overruled by the U.S. Supreme Court president?
Gonna guess Obama?
It was Barack Obama by a mile. And no one screamed about how he was doing all this crazy shit with the presidency. But he clearly was, or he wouldn't be the number one most overruled president by the U.S. Supreme Court of all time. Right? Now, somebody can make a case that Trump has the rubber stamp Supreme Court, so he's not going to be overruled as much. But I'll let people smarter than me argue that one.
Yeah.
But that's just my point to all this is like, is it supposed to be separate? Yes. But how the hell am I supposed to institute a plan to fix America, to get everything back on track when I need all these things coordinated together? And everything's so partisan and everything's so divided, you can't even get, usually, Republicans in Congress to all get on the same page with something. And you don't have a supermajority. You lose a couple people and you can't get a bill passed. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Fed independence is good. I think it's just a matter of, I guess, like trying to do a better job at articulating what your plan is. Because
trying to sell them?
Well, yeah, because now it feels like the Fed, like Jerome Powell, is kind of changing gears a little bit.
Yep.
On his thoughts on inflation, about how he's kind of moving now more towards the idea that the tariff inflation really will just be a one-time increase, and he's not thinking so much like services and wages will inflate alongside it. And I mean, I guess being careful is not a bad thing. But, nothing's really changed about these tariffs. Yeah, the tariff rates have gone up and down, but they're still in place. And still whatever inflation's going to come of the tariffs is roughly the same as it's been all along. And so to be changing your opinion on what the inflation is going to be like seems a bit silly, and probably a pretty good indicator that, the Fed could have already cut interest rates, and they probably will. And Trump will appreciate that, although he'll still push for further cuts.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Zero Hedge at all?
What do you mean by that?
So Zero Hedge is a website, zerohedge.com, and it's written by Tyler Durden. Does that name ring a bell to you? Tyler Durden is this guy's pen name. Tyler Durden was the name of the guy from Fight Club.
Okay.
All right. Who blew up all the financial buildings. Okay. And he was reporting that so far, the bulk of all the tariff expenses are being paid for by all these foreigners.
Yeah.
It's not even coming over to us.
Yeah, I've read that too, that most of the tariffs, at least up to this point, have been eaten by the foreign entities and then also some of the domestic importers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, going back to the idea of using ChatGPT and Grok, like ChatGPT tries to tell me that as time progresses, that more of that tariff load will be put onto the consumer. I'm not exactly sure what drives such a large shift, but
yeah, I just think that anytime you hear an expert talk, if you just assume they're probably wrong, you're going to be right more often than not.
Yeah. Well,
and I think the reason why is just because you're talking about such a massive amount of levers and data, right? Jordan Peterson talks about how he goes, how can you ever expect one of these climate models that tries to predict the cost of climate change? He goes, just think of what a massive data set a climate model is. And then you're going to overlay into it another massive data set of financial information, and you think that's going to come out anywhere near accurate?
Yeah. 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 And talking about CNBC, like I love CNBC. And I think it's actually pretty great. But it's funny because you'll hear, like, they'll bring on, they got their normal cast, but they bring on guests all the time.
Yeah.
And there's some guests that come on that I recognize. I don't know their name because they're not really that important, but they're from like a big bank kind of. But they'll come on and they're usually talking about the stock market because it's CNBC. And it's just funny because they're always changing their prediction on like year-end target or this or that. And it's always just like if something good happened while since the last time they were on, then they change it upwards, and vice versa. If something bad happened since they last been on, they change it downward. And it's like, isn't the whole point of forecasting to kind of predict what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Not just responding what already happened.
Yeah. Oh, that's good thing happened. Hey, guess what? Like, yeah, no shit. I can do that.
I mean, I get it, but like at the same time, like if you're going to be the big expert on CNBC, it's just like you'd think you'd be a little bit more right.
NVIDIA announced record earnings today, and we're recommending buy. Like, no, you worthless sack. You should have recommended buy a week ago before the earnings report came out.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Like you should have had some eyes on, like maybe you noticed increased activity in the factory 6 months ago. Maybe you were able to get like purchase orders for some rare earth mineral that is being used by chips, and that spiked up. And, and so we're able to predict 6 months from now that this is they're betting on a bigger contract that was signed, or, like that's data. That's like shit that you make
actually useful.
Right?
Yeah, some of the CNBC guests coming on like around the April time when tariffs were first being rolled out, they were giving out like S&P price targets for end of the year in the 4,000s.
Yeah.
Or like low 5,000s.
Yeah.
And then now those same people are going on like trying to say like it's gonna be closer to 7,000.
Yeah.
It's like it's not just like they're changing by 3, 4, 5%. That's like
no,
like 30%. I just don't understand how you do that wrong.
Yeah, they are, right? That's one of my other favorite ones. Is they always trot these assholes out during when COVID dropped or the tariff thing dropped. And there was some guy, I've been saying for 23 years the stock market was going to correct 29% and I'm right. Well, I mean, you've been wrong for 29 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right today.
Yeah, about damn time.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, this isn't a win for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I love those people. They're just doom and gloom all the time. And then they get trotted out on television every time there's a correction of any kind to validate that they were right. And I'm like, no, you're not right.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's also what I really like about CNBC, not to keep going to CNBC, but I love it because
maybe they'll sponsor us.
The hosts on it, I love how they'll call out these analysts that come on. They're like, you keep changing your mind. And so I just love the conversation they have on it. It's pretty real. And that's why I like it. Because no other actual station do I watch.
CNBC does Squawk Box out of
so
the
NASDAQ.
Yeah. So I'm actually in an episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange while they were filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was hanging out right behind the desk.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool how they actually, because they do, I forget if that's at the NASDAQ, but yeah, they do one show at the NASDAQ trading floor and then the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, the New York Stock Exchange is the one I was at.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool that they're right there. So,
yeah. No, it is. It's awesome.
Big fan.
All right. Well, we need MSNBC and CNBC to sponsor us because we rep them all the time.
Exactly.
I mean, one we're making fun of. But hey, any press is good press, right?
Yeah. Let's see. We'll move on to the next topic. I know we got maybe a little bit, 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah, it's 2:39. And
so we'll choose the next topic wisely.
I have to go to my day job at 3.
All right. Well, let's see. We got
to go Crack Barrel.
All right. So the Cracker Barrel situation is pretty hilarious.
It's so hilarious.
The thing that to me that makes it the most hilarious is how fast it's happened. Because I think it was just last Tuesday. I think it was last Tuesday that they announced his new logo.
Yes.
And then I'm waking up Wednesday morning and it's Cracker Barrel.
It's literally 8 days.
Dude. And so
do you think they're getting a refund from the marketing company?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or do you think the marketing company is going to be like, you owe us more money? We did an incredible job getting you publicity.
Well, yeah, that's what Trump was saying. He's like, if you need to go back, revert back to your old logo, and you could actually have a lot of publicity for this. And you can make a lot of money by doing this. So I think it's pretty funny because it's just last week. I'm gonna pull up this video
because their CEO, that Julie lady, tried to give the worst response ever at first.
Yeah. This is her. I think the morning after it was announced. I think this is the morning that it was being rolled out. This Good Morning America.
I hate people that wear thick black rimmed plastic glasses.
I will say, in general, people who wear glasses like that definitely usually lean one way.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very unsurprising that she's wearing these glasses.
Yeah.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Well, Julie Messino is...
So that's on Good Morning America. And she's trying to tell us
known for their hard-hitting investigative journalism.
That everybody
internally
loves it. The customers love it.
Yeah. Oh, they're just dying to get remodeled.
Well, tell me why 8 days later you're going back on your whole idea. And what I also understand too is why just in general. Let's just say if this was a really cool logo.
Yeah.
You might be taking away, I think it's Herschel. This guy's
Uncle Herschel.
Uncle Herschel.
The homophobic old man.
Yeah. And so if the new logo looked really cool, people would still be upset about Uncle Herschel,
yes,
but at least you'd have a really cool logo.
Yeah.
But that is about as basic as you're going to get of a logo. So it's why did you even bother moving forward?
I feel bad. I like Canva, and I heard somebody on the press trash Canva they got their logo they made off Canva. I'm like, hey, don't be knocking Canva. Yeah. Canva's good.
Don't get me wrong. I love Canva too, but I am not an artistic pro. and like that's a logo I can make in what, like 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay. So I'll be honest. I didn't really know what the big deal was because that first logo is it's hard to embroider. So when you're creating logos and stuff, I always, I fail a lot. So I create a lot of different business names with logos. So one of the things I look for is it clean? Is it simple? Can it be embroidered? Can it be screen printed? Right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Right.
The second one's certainly easier.
Well, yeah. And so when I was at the second one, I just thought, yeah, I mean, it's generic as all get out. Right. But I mean, how are you going to put, I mean, I know you could, but I just think putting the old man in the barrel in the chair.
Definitely tougher.
Yeah. And then you got the bean, what is that? A kidney bean with Cracker Barrel in the middle of it. Right.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at the backlash, to be honest.
Well, I'm not surprised just because it's just like, it's the type of deal where it's just like so stupid. It's like, why, like, what's even the point?
Well, I was just glad that they finally added a white guy to all the other minority mascots they've kicked off labels. You know, Pocahontas from Land O'Lakes and Aunt Jemima.
This is actually one of the first white guys I can remember.
Yeah, well, the Quaker Oats. Then we get rid of the Quaker Oats old man.
Yeah,
so now we got two whiteys.
Quaker,
We got two whiteys, a native, some African Americans. Uncle Ben, didn't he get booted?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima are like dating now? They've been up there long enough?
Maybe.
Or do you think Uncle Ben's got an eye for Pocahontas? These are the things.
Damn good question.
These are the things I think
running
about.
through his brain.
Squirrel.
And but it is.
It's very bland, very generic. It's like, and I love how they're like, we're sticking with our roots. No, you're not sticking to your roots. You're literally doing the opposite of sticking to your roots.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Just because you say shit doesn't make it true.
Yeah. If you go to their website, I think this is the website. This website has been updated like multiple times in the last week because just yesterday this top part wasn't there because this is a message from Cracker Barrel talking about they're keeping their old timer logo.
Yeah.
That wasn't there last night when I was making this list.
No.
It was just here, our promise to you, and they're talking about, you've shown us that we could have done a better job at sharing who we are, who we will always be.
Okay. So that line right there, here's how you know this company is infested with Democrats. Because every single pitch on talk shows after they lost was that exact statement. We need to do a better job at sharing with people who we are. No, the American people know exactly who you are, and they literally chose to kick your ass to the curb.
Yeah.
It's the exact same pitch Kamala Harris and all the Democrats and they made after her loss. We just didn't do a very good job getting our message across. No, we know your message.
You just got to know your consumer.
Well, yeah, and what's up with this, right? Like, who do you think is brunch at Cracker Barrel like a really big gay thing?
Definitely
is that where all
not.
the gays go?
Definitely not.
For brunch?
Hell no.
So now look, I will say, so a lot of people don't know this, but in 1991, Cracker Barrel sent out a letter to all their employees telling them that if any of them presented in a non-heteronormative way, they'd be fired. And 11 gay people got fired. This is 1991. Now, I remember, like I was in high school, almost junior high then. I went to high school 93, 94, 95. And everything was gay back then. It was, and I mean like all the major questions of society. Should gays be allowed to get married? Should gays be allowed to adopt children? Should gays be allowed to serve openly in the middle? I mean, it's like everything was like, you would have thought no one else on the planet existed but gay people and their problems, right? So it was a interesting time nationally in regards to the whole LGB. We didn't add the T or the Q or the plus or the whatever other letters. The twin spirits in Canada. Okay, the dual spirits. I think that's what they call them, the dual spirits. The gay indigenous, the non-binary indigenous people spirits. That's a real thing, by the way. The dual spirits.
I believe
It's part of the LGBTQ plus community in Canada. They have like 20 more letters than we do. They're more creative.
Good for them.
They're more inclusive. But anyways, my point is, that was like a defining moment for Cracker Barrel. And what you're watching today, and that's what I find really interesting about is this is the culmination of that 1991 event. They brought in a CEO who didn't want to go to work there because of that situation. I can't remember why he did, but he's who built the partnership between Cracker Barrel and the human rights governance or whatever, the blue sticker with the yellow equal sign on it.
Oh, yeah. I think it's human rights.
Yeah, and so and even though it says human rights, it's my understanding of it's pretty much just all LGBTQ rights. Like, I don't think they do a lot more outside of that. But this guy formed a deep, lasting community with that organization. And they brought in, and at the time, I think that organization was like 7 people. And so they worked really, really hard to make Cracker Barrel a inclusive, welcoming environment for the LGBTQ community. Now, I don't think anywhere should be a non-inclusive environment. I just think it's interesting how it's like, where have you done enough?
Yeah. That's my opinion on things.
Right?
It's like there's a lot of places that were never, I mean, I guess Cracker Barrel's maybe a little different, but in general, there's a lot of places that like it's just a normal restaurant or a normal store. Like you don't have to make it inclusive.
No, like I don't put any of that crap up. I will never attempt to be an inclusive work environment, right? Yeah. But I have members of the LGBTQ community that work for me, and I knew they were before I offered them a job.
Yeah,
like I went out of my way, not to hire them because of that, but to hire them because I liked them, and I even made a joke. I was like, "Hey, you and your husband want to go out to breakfast?" I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, you guys are gay. My bad. You want to go to brunch?" Right? Like, I don't have to like pander. Right? What we do have to do is be good people and be welcoming and truly inclusive, not just like talk it, say it, put stickers up, put flags up, any of that bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like the more you lean into stuff like this here on the website, where you have to announce your LGBTQ alliance, this all alliance,
that's all leftist pandering bullshit.
I feel like the more you have to do that, to me, it's like I feel like you're doing way too much to try to be inclusive at that point.
Look, we have the neuroverse, so the tisms.
Yeah.
Autisms.
Yeah. It's got
women,
everything except for like
no,
some for white people.
No. And see, this is what cracks me up. The last thing I'd want is for you to put me on that list. Like, get me the fuck off that list.
Yeah, I'm happy I don't really fall into any of these.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
what are you saying?
You do because you're the veterans, but
is that veterans?
Yeah.
Those bastards. Shit.
I'm safe from here.
You are. You're safe from the list.
Yeah, none of these apply to me.
Yeah. Like I mean, like, what do you think of people, right? What the hell is amped? Advancing modern professionals for tomorrow by promoting a community of inclusive, ambitious, and diverse members that unify through the crack barrel to equip our community and leaders. BRG burger.
It's completely unnecessary to talk about inclusive ambition. It's just like, it can just be empowering modern professionals. You don't have to include, inclusive, diverse, like people who are, modern professionals, like are just modern professionals. There's not like a racial tone behind it. You don't need to add that into it.
Yeah. It's like all this. It's like, get me the hell off that list. Like, I don't need you, like, creating a lima bean, kidney bean logo about me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that.
Definitely not.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Got a couple more minutes. I I guess we could go ahead. I might.
Let's not on that super cherry topic right there.
Which one? This down here or up here? I want to hear what your super cheery topic is.
The trans shooter.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and pull up. We'll quickly look at the actual article. Then I'll pull up this X post.
All right.
So the actual article, just to give some actual perspective on what happened. It was a church in Minneapolis. I think it was the Annunciation Catholic Church, Catholic school in Minneapolis. There's
one of my favorite things to do with Catholic church names is you put Batman on the end of them. Like Holy Prince of Peace, Batman. Annunciation.
Yeah.
It works.
It does work.
The enunciation, not so much, but
yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
So there's 17 people who were injured. I think 2 were killed.
Yeah, there's another 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yeah, another 2 that are in critical condition.
They just shot through the windows, man.
Yeah.
Can't even go in and face them.
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously, a coward thing to do. And then the ultimate coward thing to do is shooting yourself at the end, which he or she did.
Yeah. It saves us money.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's not a life worth having.
No, I prefer a cop shot him, but
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's like extra cowardice that that you shot yourself
out. You save somebody the enjoyment of.
Yeah, I would have liked to see someone else take his life selfishly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so blah blah blah. They talk about the guy a little bit. Goes by the name Robin, which is interesting.
Yeah, Robin. 8:30 a.m. Who's that motivated to shoot people? 8:30 a.m.
Woke up, drank his coffee, and
jeez, that must have been.
left.
It must have had a lot of espresso shots in there.
Yeah. And so the name Robin, it's like that's not a.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not.
not saying that can't be a masculine name.
So it doesn't say anything in there about Robin and his past.
Not in that article.
Of course.
Well, I did find a couple of other articles, but not from as mainstream of news sources.
Okay.
But it is confirmed.
Yes.
Like this is actually confirmed here.
Correct.
So not actually transgender, but like he's got the ideology that it is a dude. His name was Robert Westman. And then while he was still a minor, he had his name changed to Robin.
Okay.
So when he was 17, his parents signed off on this form here. And he was almost 18. He could have just waited another, I think, like 5-6 months, and he would have turned 18. He could have done, because he turned 18 in June, and this is in January. So he would have turned 18 5 months later. But they filled out this form. It's for Robert Westman, and his dad signed off on it, James. And then they changed it to Robin Westman. And it's because he's a minor child, identifies as a female, and wants her name to be reflected. I can't even read what I say, but basically reflected on their identification.
Yeah. How are we allowing that?
And like, I can't imagine.
What's the point of an ID card when it can't identify you correctly?
Well, exactly. And so identifying as trans, obviously, if we're being honest, this is obviously the motive of shooting up a school.
Yeah.
I think like everybody already knows that pretty damn well. Here's a picture of him. It's like if you're going to identify as a woman, you might as well shave the little beard hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there is no world in which he's going to pass as a woman.
Yeah, like at least shave. That's what I don't understand.
That is one hell of a job. Is that Jay Leno's son?
Kind of does look like him a little bit. I just don't understand though. Yeah, if you're going to go out of your way, change your name, identify as a female, whatever, why not like try a little bit? I mean, he's got the long hair, but like, why not try a little bit harder and actually shave your fucking face? How many real females, even like the real ugly, out of shape ones, how many of them have like beard hair?
I noticed at my kids' back to school night last night, there is a pandemic in this country. Fat, ugly people are everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's a new norm.
Holy shit.
Definitely new norm.
There is not enough Ozempic being manufactured.
Yeah, those drug loss companies are kind of,
holy cow.
It's like an infinite cash cow.
Yeah. Ow.
It's good business to be in.
Jeez.
Because fat people are not going anywhere.
No.
And even when they get on the drugs, they got to stay on those drugs.
And I used to see fat people that were still like attractive. They're fat, but they took care of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
not
I'm
so
sitting
much.
behind these two lesbians. And one is this butch cut Asian. And I honestly wasn't 100% certain it was a girl. And I don't know that she identifies as a girl. Right. I have a conversation with
Yeah.
her. Just fat rolling out all over the place. And it had that high-pitched voice, but a lot of Asian guys kind of have a higher-pitched voice. And then her girlfriend is this short, stumpy redhead. And they're talking about the son they have together. And I just thought, that's a fucking human rights violation right there. Can you imagine being a boy?
You're definitely putting that son at a disadvantage in his life.
You are fucking that kid. That boy is being raised by these two.
Because
it's not even being raised by hot lesbians.
well, exactly that. Like, I don't think it's even so much an issue. Like, I don't really have even that much of an issue of the whole idea of like same-sex people raising their children.
Yeah.
If you're like, well,
Loving parents are better than no parents.
well, yeah, but like if you're like, not saying you have to be actually like financially well off, but I mean well off in the fact that like you live a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
But like because this is not like an isolated event, but like
No.
where you get people who are just like complete
Mentally deranged and they go
trash
adopting kids.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they're like not trying to sound
And heterosexual
fatphobic
couples
here.
do it too.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Like, look at
There-
all the
there's-
people that are taking care of foster kids in the foster program.
Yeah.
Like, why are these the people that were...
The worst demographic for like parents is like white trash,
Yes.
fat ass
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
And so like I'm not talking in trash on homosexual, not talking
Yeah.
talking trash on different races.
Yeah.
White trash, fat fucks
Yes.
are like the worst offenders of this, of raising their child
yes.
to live a really terrible life.
By the way, we just launched a clothing line, WTFF, White Trash Fat Fucks. Check it out.
Yep.
Somebody buy the URL quick.
Yeah. It's a good one.
That was That was great. White Trash Fat Fucks.
So I think that about wraps it up because I know you got to get back to your day job.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me that the trannies have started getting in on the mass shootings because this is not the first, right? We've had, 3 of these that I can think
Several.
of?
And it's like always a church.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yeah.
Maybe not always, but like
No, I mean, it seems like
recurring at this point.
Yeah. Yep. It's one thing I like. I don't go to church a lot, but the church I went to in Lenexa, there had to be at least 15 people packing heat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about Midwestern churches.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty safe.
Yep. You pray like it all depends on God and shoot like it all depends on the hours you spend at the range.
Yep.
So,
It's a good point.
all right. Well, until next week, this is Elliot
Nathaniel?
signing off.